Welcome to another episode of The Latest to Admire. Today, I am very excited to have a conversation with actor Jon Beavers. Most recently, you can see John as Agent Billy Pace in the amazing show Paradise. Thank you so much for being on my show. I am so excited to be talking with you.
Thank you, Maya. The excitement goes both ways.
So let's get started. So who has had the biggest impact on the person you have become?
Wow, as a person, like in my
Yes.
my personal life, that's such a big and beautiful question. Well, I would have to say my wife. I've been married for 13 years, which is longer than she should have stuck around. She could go do much better if she wanted to, but that's my best friend. That's my business partner. That's been my life coach. That's been my get in trouble buddy. And it's been a relationship that I think has seen me through at least three different versions of myself, and we've grown together and we've challenged each other, and she's I don't know, I'd be lost without her. So I'm not lost, not all the way, and I thank Hannah Beavers for that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I mean, I'm very lucky. I'm bizarrely lucky, especially in this business. Because we're playing make believe and we're discovering ourselves and we're wrestling with our own egos, and it's really easy to get high on your own supply, so to speak, and feel like you are somebody special in moments when you're somebody special, and feel like you're nothing in moments when people are treating you like you're nothing. And neither of those things make any difference really in who you actually are. But this business can make you feel like, oh, well, today you're the guy, and then the next week, get the heck out of here. We don't need you. And if you're listening to those voices louder than the people that really truly know you, the close friends and the family that you stay consistent with, if you don't have that to ground you, then you start listening to really a lot of silliness, and it can get you all mixed up. And I've seen people wind up, depressed and feeling lonely, and I've had a I've had a road dog. I've
Yeah.
had a partner on the journey,
Yeah.
and I don't know how you even begin to describe how valuable that is.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, so what song best describes your life right now?
There's a song by an artist called Donovan. Do you know Donovan? He sang the Season of the Witch, and he was
Oh,
a late
yeah.
60s kind of flower powery dude, really beautiful musician, odd guy. And he wrote this song, and it's the quirkiest song in the world, and you should look it up. I think it's called There Was a Mountain. And the song just goes, there was a mountain, and then there was no mountain, and then there was. There was a mountain, and then there was no mountain, and then there was. And it's a really silly, it almost feels like it's a silly song, right? But lately for me, that has been this kind of metaphor for the business that we're in. I feel like when you start out and you want to do things, and I bet you've had a similar journey too, because your journey into entertainment and pop culture is first of all just so encouraging and emboldening and amazing. But also you've come in from what feels like, at least me, I still feel like an outsider, coming into Hollywood and all of the shiny stuff. And when you start out, you feel like there's this mountain. You feel like there's this big shiny mountain and people are at the top of it. And I wonder if I could ever get access to the party. The longer you're in it, you start feeling like, wait a minute. there is no mountain. This is all made up. We're all just people, and one week somebody's the cool guy, and the next week the other guy's the cool guy, and you meet genuine people, and I think you bring really genuine qualities out of people too. I think you remind people that like, hey, let's not act too cool. I'm a person who's actually been through something. So let's all just remember that we're human beings and we're grateful to be alive. And I think that's a really wonderful quality about you, by the way, Maya.
Oh, thank
But
you.
yeah, but after a while, you start feeling like, wait, there is no mountain. That was an illusion. But while it's good, I think, to get rid of the illusion, you can also feel um, there can be a low feeling where you go, oh, this is just a bunch of parties where there's a guest list and it's more fun to think that it's cool inside than it is to actually be inside. And there can be like a low feeling that comes after that. And then you get to connect to really great artists and you get to meet real genuine people who love storytelling and they're not here for the cool pictures and the wearing the sunglasses and being the cool kid. They're here because they love it and they're great at it and it's their passion from the time they were young and they stuck with it, you know? And when you get together with those people, you start to do what you came to do in the first place, which is play pretend and tell stories and try as hard as we can to do something that matters and entertain an audience and take people out of their lives for a moment. And you get back to the real thing. And then all of a sudden, you build a mountain, a real mountain, where the fake mountain was. And for some reason, all of that feels encapsulated in this really silly song, this Donovan song. But I don't know if it's silly. I think maybe he knew what he was doing when he wrote this crazy, zany song. You should take a listen. So, it starts out there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, but then there is, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm writing that down because
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
excited to listen to it.
Take a listen and then tell me what you think.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for that. I'm excited to listen to
What
it.
about you? What are you listening to right now?
I've been going back and re-listening to the soundtrack to A Million Little Things.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, yeah. What
yeah,
an incredible soundtrack that show had the whole time, huh?
yeah. Definitely. Yeah, the song I was actually listening to as you logged on was I was listening to Be My Katie from the season 1 soundtrack.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, which is one
I
of
love that.
my
Well, I'm gonna
all-time
put
favorite
that
songs.
I'm gonna put that on my Spotify playlist then and we'll trade songs. How about that?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Be my
I've
Katie.
been rewatching um it lately and yeah, just obsessing over the soundtrack all over again. So
That's so fun. That's so fun to go back over something you really love, huh?
yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Um, so if you had the opportunity to put a message on a billboard that would be seen by everyone, what would that message be?
Oh my goodness. What an awesome question. These are wonderful.
Thank you.
I love that. Um, Boy, I have so many things I'd love to put on a billboard for everyone to see. The thing that comes to me the quickest um, is this is, I believe, a scripture from the Bhagavad Gita, and I don't know it that well. I don't know that book as well as I'd like to, but there is there's a moment where the god creature tells the prince, he says, "You're entitled to the work and nothing else." And I think about that sometimes when I'm trying to find my way through this business or through the world or through trying to figure out who I am, and I get caught up in results sometimes. You start to worry about like, well, that didn't go exactly the way I thought it would, and was I good in that, or did they like me, or whatever? And sometimes it's really grounding to think, no, that's not what you're entitled to. You're not entitled to the result. You can't, my friend likes to say, you can't put yourself in context. You don't get to decide the whole story. But the work, whatever work is presented to you, whatever your heart tells you the work is, I think about your journey. I think about you finding this art of conversation and deciding like, oh, you said really early on, I know what I want to do with the rest of my life. And that's such a blessing, Maya, when we feel something so strongly. And it can be a burden too, because then you go, oh boy, well, now I got my work cut out for me. Now I've said I know what I want to do. Now I got to go do it. And some days are a bit of a grind.
Yeah.
But to be entitled to the work and nothing else, I think means get the joy you want out of doing what you said you love and love the doing of it. And then whatever comes of it, if it's everybody's favorite thing they've ever seen, that's wonderful. If nobody ever sees any of your artwork or your here's your story or comes and lives in the house you built or whatever, that part's not for you to decide. But you get to decide how joyfully you do the work. And I say this, I'm not always joyful when I'm doing the work. Sometimes I'm a real grump, but I try to be. I try to be grateful for the work itself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Oh, good. That's a
Yeah.
really lovely question. I'm gonna think of like five things I want on a
Yeah.
billboard as soon
Oh,
as we hang up.
yeah.
I should have
And
said that one.
yeah. And I'd love to know what else you think of. So,
I'll email you.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, there's one line from A Million Little Things that has
Yeah.
always stuck with me. I
What
mean,
is
there's
it?
so many, but
Yeah.
it's in the second episode of season one when the character John just says love each other. And that line has just always stuck with me. So I'd love for that
Love
to be
each
on a
other.
billboard.
Ah, that's beautiful. Absolutely. And it's enough. Two words is enough, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot to deal with. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to see that on several billboards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I'd
beautiful.
love to see yours on several billboards. So
Thank you. Yeah, right across the street from each other.
oh yeah, I like that.
Two really good messages.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Um, so what personality trait has gotten you in the most trouble?
Jeez. Um, well, I tend to charge in to things I don't know how to do. And if I have anything going for me, I'm willing to ask for help and I'm willing to make a fool out of myself. And that's how I've learned everything so far because I didn't go to school. I didn't go to conservatory for acting or for art or anything. I didn't feel like it was an option with the way that, my family was structured and where we were at monetarily. So I just kind of came out here and got started and asked for a lot of help. And I would ask people, hey, what would you do if you were me? And where did you learn to do this? And what did they teach you in school? And then I would try it. I was talking to a friend of mine at some point and I said, he was saying, I'm the guy who goes into a class if I'm learning karate, I'm gonna sit in the back for the first 5 weeks and just watch. And I said, oh, I'm the other guy. I'm the guy when the sensei says, all right, who's willing to let me demonstrate the dragon punch? Like, punch me. I want to see it up close. And I'm the guy who's gonna come up there. I'm gonna try my best and I'm gonna wind up on my butt. I know I am. But there's something to be said for it because as long as you're okay taking the ego bruise and my ego's beaten up, then you do learn. hands-on. People will help you. I always repeat what a teacher told me. People will help the guy who's pushing his own car. If you're standing on the side of the road and you just got a sign that says "Help me," people will drive right past. But if you're pushing your own car, people are going to pull over and help you push your car. So I've always been pushing my beat up old car, and I've been willing to ask for help. And it's gotten me in a lot of trouble. I have definitely gotten punched harder than I thought I was going to. I've embarrassed myself in huge ways, but that's a small price to pay for me for the education that comes afterwards. And I find people are kind and generous when they see that you're willing to get punched in the face and get back up.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
What about you, Maya? I really want to turn these questions around because they're so good. They're so
Thank
thought
you.
out. What gets
Thank
you in
you.
trouble?
Um, I can be very stubborn at
Yeah,
times, so I think probably that. Um,
sure.
yeah, I always joke with my mom that she's the one. Both my sister and I are like that, so we always joke with our mom that we inherited that from her. That we're just very stubborn, and if we
Yeah.
plan on doing something, like we're
Yeah.
going to do it. But
Yeah.
then
Hey.
if somebody like tells us we need to do something, we don't
Yeah.
want to do it.
Not doing it. Yeah. The best way
But
to get you to do something is to tell you you can't do it, I'll bet.
yeah, yes.
Yeah. That's fuel in the tank right there.
Yes, it is.
That's probably why you've made so much out of nothing at all. You've just invented an entire path and a show, and it's probably somebody at some point said, that's impossible. And you're still proving them wrong.
Thank you.
That's good gas in the tank. Use whatever works. I love
Yeah.
that. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah, thank you, Maya. That's a great answer.
Thank you. So, what in your life brings you the most joy?
Ah, boy. Well, I already talked about my wife, so I won't go on. I won't gush anymore about that. My brother just had a baby. He had a baby boy named Caleb, and I'm an uncle for the first time. And I have been amazed. I want to spend more time with him. He lives in Hawaii, so it takes, I only get so many chances to visit, but I'm going out soon again to see him. But it also just lights the world up in a different way. When there's a young person who comes from my family and is now, I'm not the youngest generation anymore. And so I look around and I go, well, we got to fix this, we got to clean this place up because my nephew's here and he's got adventures to go on. And so I feel joy, I feel responsibility, I feel sort of a renewed interest in life from being an uncle. And so I would say right now that's the battery in my back is little Caleb.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and he's adorable.
Oh. Um, so what has been the biggest obstacle you've overcome?
Mm, sheesh. Well, I mean, what's been neat is watching myself learn that all of the obstacles have actually just been opportunities to grow. Most immediately, because I've been having conversations about this business lately with other artists. The process of getting a job in this business has changed so much recently, and we're doing it all online. We're sending in audition tapes, and occasionally you do a Zoom like this, and it's been isolating. A lot of why we do this, I think, is to collaborate with other people. And this process started with COVID, and now I think it's just more efficient, and that's fine. But the amount of days that you're actually sitting with another actor and finding how the scene works and this, that, and the third has been less and less. And the days when you're in your own living room setting up your iPhone on a tripod has been more and more. But also because I have my wife who's been willing to help me a stupid amount of times set up my phone and a backdrop and put on a cowboy hat and do a funny voice and all the silly stuff you do as an actor. Leaning into the process of how the business is changing has forced me to redouble how much I care about it, how much I want to play in the game. And the process of relearning the approach to auditioning and learning all the tech stuff, which obviously with my headphones you heard earlier, I'm still not good at, but
Yeah.
uh, uh, has made me um, really kind of come to terms with how badly do you love it? Doing the work for the work's sake, instead of going, well, this isn't fair because this, or this is too hard because that. And getting back to the work for the work's sake in whatever shape it's presented to you, I think has made me get better. And it's made me grow up a little bit and go, okay, let's stop imagining what it should be and let's see if we're bringing joy and passion and grit to what's in front of you. And that I think can be translated outside of my job into the rest of the world, right? There are a lot of things going on in our planet that, make you want to go like, well, that's not fair. That's not the way it should be. And I'm learning the lesson slowly that I don't get to determine how it should be. I get to meet what it is and I get to choose my attitude. And so I think I've done some growing up as a result of some of those inconvenient changes. And hopefully I can apply that to the rest of my life. Again, I say it now, Maya. Check in on me in a week, see if I'm being grumpy about it, but I'm trying my best.
Okay, yeah, I'll put a reminder to check in with you
Yeah,
next
please.
week. Yeah.
Thank you. Just play
Yeah.
it back to me and be like, "Hey, you said this.
Yeah.
Are you practicing it?" We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it.
Thank you very much. I'll need that.
Yeah. Um, so what motivates you even on days you aren't really feeling it?
Yeah. Wow. Great question. Well,
You.
it's a little of what we talked about before. I feel so lucky that I love something, that I love an art form, that I love a process, that I know what I really genuinely care about. Because there's like five things that give me boundless energy. And other than that, I'm a very lazy person. I love to sit around and read a book and do nothing at all.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's blissful to me. The energy comes from these pockets of enthusiasm that I have typically about storytelling and mostly collaborative storytelling, working with other people and I brought this. What did you bring? And oh, I've been thinking about this all night. What about this idea? And that idea gives me this idea. I love that process so much. I started out in theater and sitting around in a black box and going like, well, what if I can fly? And what if every time you're around, then like, our powers can make a different power. It's like being a kid, right? Or taking on something deep and rich and imaginative like Shakespeare, and we're all playing fairy spirits in the woods, but the person across from you has been a professional actor for 50 years and they're an incredible pretender and they're challenging you to pretend even harder. I love it so much. I am grateful to have such an enthusiasm because if I plug into that, then I've got this boundless energy that I don't have when I'm sitting around on the couch being lazy. Um,
Okay.
I am fortunate to have that, and I am a bit burdened to want to have touched something that makes me feel so alive. And then there are times when you don't have access to it. No one's asking you to do the thing, and no one's inviting you to a collaboration. And it takes it takes just kind of plain old discipline, I think. To my buddy says it really well. He says, I can't give you a map. I can give you a compass. And I know which way is north. And then you get to it. He's in the army, and it's helpful terminology. He says that there's this concept called terrain association in the army, and they teach leaders to terrain associate. So I know this way's north, and I know I've got to go 6 miles north. I got to leave all my troops, and then you get to this big canyon, and it wasn't on the map, right? It's this big ditch, and you can't take the tanks or whatever across it. What are you going to do? And he says that at that point they teach them terrain association, which means, all right, I can't go this way, but I can go 2 miles that way, and then I got to change the angle afterwards that we're going back, and we'll get to the same point, right? So they want people to be able to think on their feet. And some of having a passion, and I know you've experienced this with something you're so passionate about, you hit a block that nobody expected to be there. And you go, well, I know I'm supposed to go 6 miles this way, but 6 miles this way could equal 2 miles that way and 8 miles at an angle. And you know what? I want to get there so dang bad that I'm willing to go through this part that's just plain old gonna suck. And you kind of embrace the suck, and not only I'm sure in the process of becoming a popular host of a YouTube show or podcast and everything else you've done, but also in the process of everything that you went through medically. I think you could probably write a book on the subject of what do you do when there's an obstacle in your way and there's nothing to do but deal with it. Why do you keep going? I almost want to ask you, like, were there moments where you were like, I don't know if like I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if this starts to feel, if just being alive is too much of a pain in the butt. Like, what was the thing that you grabbed in those moments and said, like, no, 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 I'm gonna keep going.
Um, Definitely it was my family, uh,
Yeah,
and my mom and my sister, and a dog.
yeah, yeah,
And yeah, and my like love for um pop culture and everything.
yeah,
Like I always say, I know it might sound weird to some people, but like my comfort shows, like these things that I love so much, like these movies and shows, like they're my comfort and they help me
yeah,
do these things. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, and that's that's the same thing, right? Like this idea of telling a story that makes us feel connected even if we haven't met, the creator of a million little things. You might not have met them, but they told a story that made you, or you might have, I don't know, you
Yeah,
talked to
I
incredible
actually
people.
did interview
Okay,
them.
well, you're very fancy, Maya. You're very fancy, but I haven't met them. But what's incredible is that a person, when two people don't know each other, but a story makes them feel like I'm less alone. I'm like you. There's something magic about that. And as you said, family, the people that we love, when the things that we love are enough of an inspiration to go through you know troubling periods in your life, hard times in your career, or something that, I can't even imagine that you went through and did so beautifully. We're so lucky to have things that light us up, things that make us feel like, no, 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 I've got things to do. I've got places I know I'm supposed to go. I've got people I know I'm supposed to spend more time with. And so if there's a big valley and we got to take the tanks around it, let's take the tanks around it because we got things to do. And I just all the time I try to remember to be grateful that I've got people I love and things I love to do that inspire me. Because without that, I mean, geez, you know?
That.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing too, because
Yeah.
that's really special. And your dog, is your dog still with us?
Yeah, well, this was for we had another dog that he died in like the end of 2020, but then right before after I was diagnosed with recurrence and right before I started radiation, we got another dog and she's still with us. And so
And did they get to know each other for a little while?
no,
They didn't?
no.
Oh, and what was your dog that passed away? What was their name?
His name was Boone.
Boone. That's a
Yeah,
great name. And the
yeah.
new dog, what's the new dog?
Her name is Roni.
Roni?
Yeah.
I like that name, Roni.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a cute name. Well,
Thank you.
bless you, Boone.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being part of the family and for being an inspiration. My brother had a dog called Buster that passed away not too long ago, and he felt like he was part of the family. And it's one of those things where you go, geez, you're gonna kind of just I know for him, I mean, much closer for him than for me, but even my wife and I, we still kind of carry Buster around in our hearts, because
Oh,
when an animal's part of the family, it sort of stays part of the family forever, right?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, we had
special.
yeah, before Boone, we had another dog named Roosevelt that my mom had uh for a few years before my sister and I were born. And then
Hmm.
we had him like he was with us through when I was like originally diagnosed and like
Yeah.
all my treatment and everything. And then he passed away when my sister and I were in elementary school. And then
Hmm.
it was like a year or like 6 months or a year later, we got Boone.
Boone.
And yeah, and then he was with us like all pretty much all through like until like right before we graduated high school. And
Amazing.
so, yeah,
Amazing. And then Roni, what kind of
yeah,
dog is Roni?
she's a plot hound mix.
A plod hound. I can't picture.
Yeah,
How
she's
big is she?
did you say how big is she?
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to
Yeah,
picture a plod hound.
she's kind of like I don't know, like medium, I'd say. She
Okay.
she's a bloodhound boxer mix.
Oh, plod
Um,
hound. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. I
yeah,
don't know this. I didn't know the name of the breed, but this is always a beautiful dog you see at a dog park or whatever. Does she have the sort of striped coat as well?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
She does.
How
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah,
How pretty.
yeah. So we've all been like so close with all the dogs we've had, and
Hmm.
like Roni feels like she has like the soul of our first dog.
Of
Um,
Roosevelt?
yeah,
Ah, that's
yeah.
so cool.
So yeah,
That's so
so it's
cool. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. There were like it was when we first got her. We like had to take her to the vet to get shots, and she had like
Hmm.
a weird reaction to them
Hmm.
because she was
Hmm.
acting very crazy for a few days after we first got her. So
Oh,
we
no.
had to bring her back.
Yeah.
And then she and I, there was like one weekend while I was going through radiation that we like just my mom and her had already bonded, and then she and I bonded well because I was just like on the couch, like not really able to
Yeah.
do anything, and she was just like right next to me, and
Ah,
yeah,
that's
and
amazing.
didn't leave
What a
my side.
friendship. What a friendship.
Yeah,
That's special. Well, we love you,
yeah,
Roni. Please tell Roni I said hello.
yes, I will.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have to maybe send you a picture of her because she,
Please, I'd love that.
okay, cool.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Put a
Yeah.
face with the name.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. So, I, I'm so sorry. What question did I just ask you?
Well, we were talking about hardships. I was talking about my silly hardships. You were talking about your incredible hardships. But ultimately, we were deciding that family and the things that we love to do pull us through, and they're worth
Yeah.
it no matter what. And
Yeah.
so it was, and then you were asking about, how do you keep going when
Oh,
when
yeah.
things are tough,
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it was just, I'm sorry I turned it around, but I just think
Oh,
your
it's
story's so
okay.
incredible. So it's fun to share both ways.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just kind of, I,
Lost your way in the questions. No, I mean I
yeah.
was asking about the dogs. I got us distracted. We're gonna get back on track.
Oh, no, it's fine. I like conversations that kind of go off the rails. Like, it's
Yeah, me too. Me too.
yeah. Yeah. Um, so I was looking at like two questions. I couldn't remember which one I just asked. So
Well, ask whatever you'd like, and we'll figure it out.
thank you. Um, so I am pop culture obsessed and go in stages of shows that I cannot stop watching, as you
Yeah.
probably know. Um,
Hmm.
what show are you currently obsessed with?
Oh, this is everybody's answer, I know, but it's Severance for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
We're watching that show, and I just can't believe it. I can't believe how engaging it continues to be. I don't know. Have you seen this show at all?
I saw the first couple episodes in
And
season one. My
and
mom
then it
loved
weirded you out.
it, and I don't know, I love everybody in it, and there was just something about it, like it was interesting, but I couldn't really get into it.
Well, and it's
I
creepy.
feel bad saying.
No, it's okay. It's also got creepiness going on, and it's got weirdness, and it's not, I totally get it. It's not the funnest show all the time to watch, but you know what they're doing, and this
Yeah,
idea that like you're a separate person at work than you are at home.
yeah,
And they keep exploring that idea in a way that what I love about the show is 1 minute it is really spooky and strange. And the next minute, it is so dumb and hilarious. And they're just, I mean, really silly jokes. And it seems like so much fun for the actors to just be playing between these tones, going back and forth and getting to do. And we got to do a lot of that, I felt like in Paradise too. I don't know if you felt like that watching it, but it felt
yeah,
like we have these really high stakes dramatic moments, and then sometimes we get to be pretty darn silly too.
yeah,
And I love when a show can do that, when it can be multiple tones at once.
yeah,
Yeah, so
definitely.
that's the one I'm caught up on right now.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, there are, well, there's a ton of shows I'm obsessed with right now. And
You said Million Little Things. What else are you super into?
um well, yeah, A Million Little Things I've been going back and rewatching. I love as like newer shows. I was just because I was in LA for a few weeks, so I just finished getting caught up on like Matlock and Elsbeth and
Oh yeah, so
those
cool.
shows.
Have you talked to Jason Ritter yet?
Yes, I have.
Isn't he
Yeah,
the best?
yeah, he is.
That's like my favorite guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. I actually interviewed him like in 2020, and then
Uh-huh.
I just recently, actually, it was on my birthday, I did a press junket for Matlock. So I talked with Jason again and Sky P. Marshall, which was so cool.
So cool. That's very cool. That show's so fun, isn't it? They're
Yeah,
doing such a great job over there.
yeah.
Yeah, he and I got to work together 7 or 8 years ago on an uh, army show, a mini series about the army in Iraq. And he's such a great actor, but he's also just he is infectiously fun to be around. Like Jason's just, I mean, he's one of those kind of people where you're just like, let's just go do anything. Do you want to just like, let's just go have a coffee and walk through a park? You make things more fun. I
Yeah,
absolutely love him.
yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
I know I felt that like after interviewing him the first time, I was like, I
Yeah.
want to hang out with you. And then
Yeah.
talking with him again with Sky afterwards, I was like, I just want to hang out with both of them.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I know. Yeah. That's how I feel too.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and I've also been like there, I just have like a bunch of shows that I constantly go back to. So
Yeah.
like
Totally.
a million
What are
little
your
things.
comfort? Yeah. Yeah.
There's a million little things, psych, white,
Psych.
yeah, white
Totally.
collar.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, then like Will and Grace and Friends and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It just
and
feels good to go back and live in those worlds, doesn't it?
yeah, it does.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
yeah. I do a lot of songwriting, which I
Yeah.
love, and I have two songs that one is about white collar and the other one is about the series finale of A Million Little Things because that
Really?
broke my heart. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so special that they inspired you to make work
yeah,
too. That like, that somebody else's art triggers art in you. That's such a great feeling when that happens.
yeah,
Have you ever got to share those songs with the people that made those shows?
yeah. Actually, yeah,
You
I've
did?
gotten to share with a couple people.
Ah, that's really special. That must have
Yeah,
been a big moment
yeah,
to say like this is how your work bounced off of my heart and then came back out.
yeah,
That's very neat. So
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It was really special to be able to share it with them.
It's
So,
also a really neat way to use, you've got this reach because you're so good at what you do and people want you to keep doing it. But instead of, it just being about hey, what flashy thing can I post is going to happen? And the way that the internet feeds off of like, oh, tell me what's the twists that are coming in the next season. That's fun too, but it's way more fun, I think, to say, hey, I really appreciated your art. It really affected me, and it made this thing inside of me that I created and want to share with you. I bet you that those interviews, those moments are so refreshing for those people because mostly everybody just wants to know, what can we expect next season?
yeah,
It's so they can post about it, It's
yeah,
really special when somebody says like, no, it really landed on me. It
yeah.
made me think things and feel things. It's neat.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, if you had a warning label, what would yours say?
Mine would say, I'm not necessarily feeling how my face makes me look. Just because sometimes my face is so wrinkly, right? And if I find myself thinking about something somewhat serious, then I can be sitting like this, actually having a very good time. It just doesn't look like I'm enjoying myself. And some people have even been honest and been like, hey, man, I know you're probably enjoying our lunch together, but you're looking at me like you want to murder me. And I have to explain, no, it's just the way the wrinkles on my face sort of fall downward can give me a very grumpy look that I don't actually mean. So I think maybe I need a t-shirt that says, I'm frowning because I'm happy.
I like that warning
Yeah.
label. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be helpful.
Yeah.
My wife said it took some getting used to. She said that, sometimes I'll just be thinking such serious, it looks like, oh
Yeah.
boy, that guy's in a really bad mood. Not necessarily. I
Yeah.
might just be trying to figure out the crossword puzzle, and it
Yeah.
makes me look like a murderer. So
Yeah.
please forgive
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say And just with that look, I was gonna say, if I didn't know you, I probably, like from this conversation, I probably would have been a little bit scared.
Oh, you see? There you go, right there. I'd
Yeah,
like to think I'm a cuddly bunny, but there's a
yeah,
it's that thing. Just happens sometimes.
yeah.
What about you? What's your warning label?
Um, there's what I think I the one I always go to is prone to anxiety, don't overload. Uh,
That's a
so
good one.
yeah.
I could use that too. I could use that too. Don't overload. That's very funny.
Yeah,
Make a nice little sticker. You could put it right on the door.
yeah,
Don't dump on me. I've got
yeah,
enough going on right now.
yeah,
That's great.
yes,
Hey, you know
exactly.
what? It's just good to know yourself.
Yeah,
Self-awareness is
yeah,
a very important thing. So if you know
yeah,
what your little quirks are, you can warn people. We can all get along just fine.
yeah, exactly.
That's great, Maya.
Um, so, what three words best describe you?
Let's see. Probably, I hope, curious. I love to learn. Um, I hope grateful. I would love it if people said that that's a guy who really knows how lucky he is. Um, and talkative. Let's face it, I just run my mouth a little too much. I can't help it. The thing goes on its own. I'm a chatty Cathy.
Well, I love that.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Thank you, Maya. I
yeah.
appreciate it. You get me.
Yeah, exactly. I love yeah, because I think I can it depends on who I'm with that I can be very talkative. So
Yeah.
I still like when I'm like talking with somebody who is also like interested and just having a conversation, then it's
Yeah.
for me. And like someone that I know, like I could like from the moment you logged on, I could tell like, oh, this is a good person.
Oh, that's very sweet. That's very sweet. I'm glad. I'm glad that's coming through even with the wrinkle murder face. I'm glad that you're
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
can I ask you your three? I'm so curious. These are just such great questions. I want to know what do you know
yeah.
your three words?
I don't know. I
Yeah, it's tough, right? All of a sudden you go like, geez, there's a million or there's none. I can't tell which one where
Yeah,
I'm stuck.
I can think of like a few that I hope would be
Can I say
oh,
brave? Can I just say brave? Just
oh,
not just the way that you went through your recovery, but also the way that you've charged out into the media space and you've led with your heart. Even the idea of sharing songs that are inspired by other people's artwork, and it's not the kind of bravery that I think people have to muster up. I think it just comes naturally to you. I think it's like, let's live, and then, let's live each day to its fullest, and we'll see what we get out of it. And it's that kind of wholehearted bravery it's really fun to talk to you, and it's inspiring to hear your story.
oh, well, thank you. That means the world to me. So thank
Well,
you.
I'm leaving you two. You still get two words to fill in, but I'm going to start with that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd hope it would be like creative and caring. And then
Yeah,
I know this is an extra word, but I'd hope funny.
I think so too. I think you nailed it. I think that's
Thank you.
wonderful. Yeah, creative and caring and funny. Absolutely. I think you check, check, check.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are great values to have, right? I mean, if you don't have a sense of humor, that's got to
Yeah,
be important. Otherwise, life is just too serious.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That's what my mom is like raised me and my sister to, find like there's good in any situation if you just look
Yep.
hard
I think
enough
you're right.
and like there's humor in pretty much everything too.
I
So,
agree with you.
we-
Pretty much everything. I agree with you.
yeah.
Well, your
So,
mom, she sounds like a pretty amazing lady. She gave you stubbornness and she gave you humor. And those are
yeah,
two wonderful gifts to give some daughters.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, she's the greatest.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty beautiful family.
Thank you. Yeah. What genre of movie would your life story be told as?
You know, a dark comedy, maybe. I think no, I think it is funny. I think the story is funny. There's some tragic notes. We lost my father when I was young, and he and my mom were absolute true love. And she's never remarried, still loves that man very much, and she bravely raised us on her own, my brother and I, and did a wonderful job. And there's some struggles that come along with that for everybody in a lot of different ways, right? Some of them are emotional and some of them are financial and logistic and everything else. But we laugh a lot. Our family laughs a lot, and we still feel very much that our father is a part of our family, and he's still an inspiration, and he's still he's the compass sometimes, and he was a great man and really left us with uh, all the inspiration we needed. And so there's sad elements to it, but it might be one of those movies where you get to see that there's some hard times and there's some qualities of sorrow, but love uh, overcomes, you know? Love is the power supreme, my mom likes to say. And I have found that to be true, and sometimes the hardships, the sad parts are to show you where you gotta go, are to push you in the direction. We've got to find the light and we've got to hold on to each other, right? And so at the end of the day, you're grateful for all of it because you can't have any of it without all of it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, it's a
really,
good. Go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. What?
No, no, no.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm really sorry to hear about your dad.
Oh, thank you, Maya. Yeah, well, again, it's like yeah, he died when I was 7 years old. A lot of time to process that, so it doesn't feel like fresh grief. It feels more like as I get older, I learn still about who that guy was because now I can see his life story from a different perspective, So in a lot of ways, I miss my father. I miss the relationship we would have had. But as I say, it's made me really appreciate the mother I have, the brother I have, and the journey we've got to go on together. So you can't have any of it without having all of it. And I'm really grateful for the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that outlook. I think that's a great outlook on.
And how about you? I think there's humor and there's struggle. I mean, what some people might call tragedy. I don't think that you've let any of what could be tragic in your life be a tragedy, but that's the writer, right? That's you getting to decide how you frame your life. How would you describe it?
Um, I don't, I feel like it would probably be a dark comedy, too. And
Yeah.
my family and I have a very warped sense of humor. But I also have always wanted my life to also be a musical and a rom-com.
That's
So
awesome. Let's do a dark comedy musical about your life.
yes,
You
I
know?
would love that. And add a little
That's
bit of a rom-com in there.
yeah, let's get some of that in there too. This is
Yeah.
good. This is good. I think we're really shaping something up.
Yeah. Me
A
too.
warped sense of humor in a musical.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
going. I'm going to
Oh yay. Yeah.
it. That's
Thank you.
cool.
I would yeah.
Hmm. I'll be there opening night.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I will be yeah, front row at your movie, so
Thank you so much, Maya. I appreciate that.
yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And
Hmm.
this week, the one that spoke to me is a secret to happiness is to stop trying to prove your worth to people who wouldn't see it, even if it was a neon sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
Oh yeah. Well, the one that I think of right when you say it, so I'll just tell you is I think about with the work that I get to do with acting. The thing about it that I think is the most special is that you're trying on different people's shoes, right? You're trying on different people's lives and different people's perspectives. And I think if you're good at it, the great ones at least say this, so I believe them, that no matter who you're playing, if you're playing the hero or the villain, you have to love the character that you're playing. You have to argue for them, right? You can't pretend to be the bad guy and be thinking I'm the bad guy. It doesn't work. You have to tell the story from your perspective as hard as you can, even if in the end the whole story ends with exposing you as the villain. That can't be your perspective, right? And it forces you to try on different points of view. And there's a quote that it gets attributed to Maya Angelou, but it's actually much older. She might have just been the first person to translate it from the Latin into English, but whatever. In English, it is. I am human, so nothing human can be alien to me. And I think about that every time I pick up a character, particularly if the character's complicated and gray, and there's things that this person says or does that we wouldn't immediately say are good things to do. I try to remember that I am human, so nothing human can be alien to me. There's a way that I can understand why that person is behaving the way that they are, even if that behavior is hurtful to someone else, right? And I try to make sure that I don't judge, that I instead climb inside and try to walk a mile in the shoes and show that this person is operating from maybe the best they can do given the circumstances that they've undergone, right? In an attempt to understand them as human. And I feel like if I do a good job or whenever it's working, we're we're able to say in some way to the world, you're not different. You're not different than each other. And the person that you think is the problem is just you in different circumstances, right? And at its very best, if storytelling or acting or even conversation has the power to do that, I think the world could use that message right now. There's too much feeling that I'm not like them, you know, or they're not like us. I think they are like us. I think we're all like us. And it might be helpful to remember that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I love that.
Yeah. Thanks for these awesome questions. What a wonderful and deep and funny and lovely conversation.
Thank you. Yeah, I had the best time talking with you. I could just keep talking to you all day. So
Me too. Me too. This was so easy and so cool. And I'm
thank
really
you.
grateful. I didn't know what kind of conversation we would have, and it just started out immediately, like you say, easy and fun and rich. And it's just really a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maya.
I have had the best time talking with you. So
Me
thank
too.
you so much for taking the time and for joining me.
The pleasure is absolutely mine.
Thank you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. You too. This was a wonderful start.
Thank you. Yeah, you have made my day. So
Ah, back at you. Back at
thank
you.
you.
Cheers.
Um, and that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.